Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up to date, we've got an e-commerce site for sale in the technology niche. Created in May 2016, this business makes $6,141 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this site is 40767. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Felix.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Before we dive into the heart of this, just to give our listeners out there a quick summary, like I mentioned, this was built in May 2016, has a monthly revenue of $43,968 with expenses sitting at $37,826 for that total net profit of $6,141. And that is over a 3-month average, with the sale also includes domain and all the content will be included, as well as a customer database of around 15,000 customers. So Felix, that's a lot of customers. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses? Is this your first one, or is this one of many you've done?
Yeah, those numbers are correct, Greg. So my background in the online business has been initially doing a lot of client work, whether it is in SEO or running paid traffic or Facebook campaigns for clients. Then I realized after Facebook has started investing a lot more in their ad platform that there's a lot more things we can do to leverage on their ad platform. And one of those things would be to sell stuff. Right. So early this year, I decided to stop doing client work completely. And I've ran a few tests. I started a few smaller shops. But this specific shop that we're talking about was created sometime in May 2016 this year. And I picked the technology niche for this shop because it was broad enough for me to see where I would want to move the shop into by way of direction in the future when it becomes more successful. But at the same time, it can also be very niche. For example, if I wanted to move into household consumer technology, if I wanted to move into mobile consumer technology, or if I wanted to move into large-scale technology, I could always move into those various niches in the future, depending on what actually works, right? So it is not the first online business that I've started. I've run a few in the past, and it's not the first sale that I'm going through, but it certainly is the first one on the marketplace, and I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here, man. And I think that's cool that the business has a bit of that flexibility where it's not just like locked into a single niche. You know, I see some niche sites are like, USB bestcore2016.com. Like, oh, that site's going to be pretty locked into its topic, right? And so for someone that is brand new to this style of business and maybe to online business in general, could you just, like, in a couple sentences, say how does this business primarily make its money?
Yeah, sure. So think of it as a traditional retail shop that you can find in a mall, right? And effectively what it is you have a shop, you have stuff. Customers come in, they buy stuff, right? And they leave with more money in their pockets and the stuff in their hands. Now, whatever we're doing right here on this e-commerce shop is exactly what a retail business would do, except that it's online. That's one thing. And it being online means you can reach out to any customers in the world. It can be scalable really quickly without any increase in overheads. And the best thing about this business that I built is that we keep no inventory, right? So we spend, say, 2 hours a week on product research to see what the most interesting products are and what our competitors are selling, what prices do they sell at. We search for the suppliers, and all of this I will share with the buyer of the site, right? Like, this information on how to do product research, how to do competitor research, then helps you get a very, very good feel of what products you should start listing and selling on your site, right? So once you've done the research, we then create the listing on our site, which effectively we're listing something on our shop, right? We then go out and research on other Facebook ads that other competitors may be running. With a lot of research information, we then create our own ads to promote our products and our shop. And as you can see, a lot of work that needs to be done to keep this business running is research-based, which means you can spend 1 hour a week on this business if you want to, or you can spend 3 hours, 4 hours a week if you want to do more stuff, right? If you don't want to spend that much time on this business, then you really don't have to do that much. You just let the shop run, you just let it go. Whenever a customer comes to the shop and makes a purchase, this order then gets sent directly to the supplier in China. The suppliers then ships the products directly to your customer. So whether the customer has bought 10 items or one item, we've found suppliers who are willing to work with us to ship those individually to your customers directly. So that helps you, it saves you a lot of money in terms of upfront capital. So you don't have to buy any inventory, you don't have to keep any stock. You can be very flexible. Whenever a new technology has come on the market, you can sell it and list it immediately on your shop without having to buy and invest even more money into the business. So that's the beauty of this business.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely one of the cool things about the internet, having a retail store with no inventory at all. You mentioned to maintain the business, there isn't a whole lot to it outside of the research if you're researching new products and wanting to grow it. So why are you selling the business? You have a pretty healthy profit coming in. Why not keep it and grow it?
Yeah, well, I had this question asked to me about 60 times in the last week now.
This is your grand chance to answer it.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the obvious answer is I don't, and I probably shouldn't be selling the business if there wasn't a better opportunity for me to scale my own professional life. So as we've listed in the, stated in the listing, I've been offered an opportunity to work with a venture capital firm in Asia to run their e-commerce division, because obviously e-commerce is scaling and is growing so quickly, not only in the US, but in Asia and in Southeast Asia as well, right? So from the success of this business and this shop, I've been given an opportunity. And as you might understand, to work with a large organization, there are many times when you have to exit from your existing smaller engagements. And, the figures that we're posting here are not small by any chance, but, I guess it's small relative to the opportunity that has been offered to me. So I've made a conscious decision that I will have to exit from this business at a reasonable level in order to pursue the next steps in my life.
So I think that's a great reason to sell. When opportunity comes knocking, sometimes you need to get the other projects off your plate. So when you started this business, what was the trajectory of it? Did you find that you were getting clients coming in pretty quickly, or did it take a while to build up some steam?
It really depends on the product, Greg. Initially, it took a longer time for sales to come in. And the reason is because I had no idea what I was doing when I was researching products. I didn't know that, there were other competitors selling something that I found. I thought I was the only one, being naive as I was. But after having spent some more time on the research part, I then realized that the more time you spend on research, the less time you spend on selling. Right. So if you spend more time finding the right products, finding the right pricing, looking at the correct competitors, looking at how they are selling their products, and replicate, not exactly copy, but just replicate the style and the price range by which these products are being sold, you then get a lot of traction very, very quickly in the very early days. However, if you actually take a research holiday, as I like to call it, then unfortunately your sales will take the same hit as well. Now that's the bad news, right? Which means you need to spend some time doing more research in order to get more sales quicker. Now the good news is that once you started getting sales for your products that you've listed on your site, there's no more research that needs to be done. Right, it's just there. People just coming in, they're looking at the site, and they're just buying. So once you have found a successful product that is selling, that is getting traction on the shop, you spend 0 minutes on it every week, and you just move on and spend all your time on researching for new products. And that's how you scale the business.
I feel like you already answered this next question I have coming up here, but I'll ask anyway. Is there one thing you learned from this business that you're going to apply to your future professional career, where I'm assuming you're going to be looking at a ton of e-commerce businesses coming up in their next opportunity? Is there anything you learned from this specific business that you're going to take with you to that?
Yeah, for sure, Greg. Like I said, it's setting up an e-commerce shop. Everyone can go to Shopify.com and set up their own e-commerce shop, right? And pay $50 a month. Anyone can just go to Facebook.com and set up their own Facebook ads. The key lesson that I've learned from running this successful e-commerce shop is research. There are 1,001 ways that you can find on YouTube and on Facebook groups and forums on how people do e-commerce product research, right? But I think very few of them are showing these revenue numbers, and who still also got a fixed, systematic, step-by-step method of doing product research, doing competitor research. And one thing that I've learned is by doing more research, not only do you increase your opportunity for sale and increase your opportunities for scale, you also subsequently decrease your exposure to risks. right? If you spend more time on research, that gives you more confidence to pick the correct products, and then you worry about the next thing. You worry about, are the images nice? Are they suitable? What text do I use to describe my products? How do I promote this product on Facebook? What do I say? What images do I use? So there's so many moving parts, right? But one thing that I've learned, which I will hand over on a silver platter, literally, to the buyer, is how to do this research in a step-by-step process in order to ensure that opportunities are everlasting. And second, for every dollar that they spend on Facebook ads promoting their new products, they know that the risk for that dollar spent for a new product is already controlled and as low as it can be.
Now, on the flip side here, what have you discovered that didn't work? Maybe one thing that, like, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. Something like that. Any of those kind of lessons?
Yeah, where do I start, Greg? Well, the first thing that I've learned is the usual way that many people who run these e-commerce business and promote their products on Facebook is their only method to scale their business is to spend more money on Facebook ads. And I don't think that makes a lot of sense to me. And initially, in the first 3 months, that's what I did. So, which is why revenue started, like going 4-folds, 5-folds on a monthly basis, right? But then I realized that that method of scaling was not sustainable, and I should probably stop, right? Because at the end of the day, you're just going to be throwing more money, and it's not. Well, no one has unlimited capital to throw into a single business, right? Into any business for that matter. I wouldn't say the hard way because it was profitable, but I learned that scaling a business by constantly throwing more money into ad spend is not the best way to do it.
Oh,
and I found out that a better way to do it is to spend more time on research, pick the right product, look at the right competitors, create the ads properly, and be wiser in spending your ad money. So whether you have $50,000 a month or $500,000 a month to spend on Facebook ads really is irrelevant, right? Because all we're looking at is ROI, is return on investment. For every dollar that you spend on ads, how much money do you make at the end of the day, right? So I've realized that the best way actually to increase your return on investment is to do more research, is to find more interesting products, adjust the pricing, and not necessarily just simply spend more money on Facebook ads. So I wish I had learned that lesson earlier, because then I would have scaled the business even further than it has been today.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's something I don't think about very often, but it's true. I mean, every new product you have is basically a new sub little niche that you can target at. Plus, when they do come buy something that might be an upsell, for that they have more opportunities to buy more things from you. So when it comes to your traffic and earnings here, what kind of traffic are you getting? Are you getting, it sounds like you're doing a lot of Facebook ads. Are you doing other forms of traffic too, or is Facebook ads like your main bread and butter here?
Facebook ads is the main bread and butter, Greg. And the reason why Facebook ads is the main bread and butter is because Facebook ads work, right? If you look at some numbers online, Facebook probably has, $12 billion or $15 billion in ad spend in 2015 or some crazy number like that, right? And it increases by double-digit percentage every single year. Right? And there's a reason why more people are spending money on Facebook ads. And to me, the only reason is because Facebook ads work. Right? No one's going to throw money on Facebook ads if they're not getting a return from their Facebook ads, right? And if everyone's moving onto the Facebook ads platform, I think the new business owner of this shop should as well. I've tested Twitter traffic, has tested Pinterest traffic, I've even tested Instagram traffic, and none of those traffic gives me more profit than traffic from Facebook. Right? So on good months, I would get close to 300,000 page views in a month. On average, I don't have the numbers off my head, but it's probably about 100,000 page views in a month from Facebook, right? And those are all profitable page views. So these are not vanity matrices where, I just throw out 6-figure page views numbers just to look good on paper. But for every page view, we're making profits from these page views, right? So it doesn't really matter if the traffic is coming from whichever source. What I'm saying is that Facebook has been the main bread and butter for traffic source for this business, and I believe it will continue to be even more so.
Yeah, it makes sense. Facebook is just a behemoth with traffic. Moving into earning types here, you mentioned you have several different products. Do you find that there is one or two products that are out earning everything else, or is it pretty spread across your different products?
There are a few key products that will always out-earn everything else, Greg. It depends on really how many products will be listed on, well, are listed on the site, right? So I've got close to 50 products listed on the site right now, and I consistently add new products. Sometimes I remove products that aren't performing that well, but most of the times I just leave them there because it costs me nothing to keep
Right.
products listed on the site, right? But eventually, the real strategy is to pick certain products that are more attractive. You may make less gross profit on those products. But what you said earlier, you use a very interesting and attractive product to bring the customer into your shop. And then once they've bought that product, you then upsell them a different product that's more profitable to you, or you cross sell a different product in a similar niche that is subsequently also more profitable to you, right? So that's basically what you can do to maximize your earnings on the shop. So yes, for a start, and at the moment there are a few products that does the most in terms of sale and revenue, but I'm starting to see a lot of the other products that we've listed on our shop pick up steam, and I'm quite sure that those new products will overtake leaders on the sales leaderboard in the next few months.
That's great to hear. How stable are the earnings? Is there any seasonality at all, or do you find that it stays pretty even throughout the year?
Good question. Well, that's the reason why I've picked the technology niche. Do you normally buy technologies at a specific time of the year, or do you buy them whenever you need them, Greg?
Usually whenever I need them.
Yeah, right. So that's why I've not picked a niche that is so specific or tied to seasons. The best thing about this technology niche is, regardless of the time of the year, there's always something that you're looking to buy. Right. And the great thing about this niche also is at any time of the year, there's always new stuff that's coming out online. Right. And if you're able to find a similar product, or even better, the same product, and sell it quicker and faster and better than the other competitors, you're going to be making money throughout the entire year. So I would argue that there is no seasonality. Well, there may be, on certain months like maybe Black Friday or Cyber Monday
for everyone.
For everyone, right? So that's not exactly something that would be very interesting to talk about. But but that's the reason why I think. Yeah, no,
No way.
no way. Yeah, so I think if anyone's considering to get into the e-commerce business, I must say and stress that picking the correct niche is the most important thing. Yeah, it needs to be broad enough, but at the same time, should you want to go niche and focus on specific items within this broad industry, you should be able to do so. And I strongly believe that the technology industry is the place to be in.
Now, let's pretend you wanted to hold on to the business and grow it. What would be the least risky thing you would do? In a couple sentences, like the least risky thing you'd focus on.
Definitely spend more time on product research, finding more products and listing those products. So I wouldn't change anything that I'm doing, because I believe as long as you have a system, not an IT system, but a working process kind of system, it takes away a lot of the risks already, because a lot of thought has been put into this process, you know what I mean? And I believe that as long as you follow a working process, you won't be taking more risks than you have to initially, well, compared to if you don't follow a proven system. For me, I would most certainly spend more time on product research, start listing more products, start testing more Facebook ads. I would run more email marketing campaigns, because we have an email database of almost over 15,000 users. I can't remember how many, but about 15K thereabouts. So I would definitely be running more email marketing campaigns, because that's free traffic, right? Which means we have a database which we will hand over to the buyer as well, to the new owner of this business, of about 15,000 people who's bought from us, okay? And what this new buyer should do also is to start planning weekly emails, or even emails to be sent out to these guys every 3 days or every 4 days, right? With new products that they found, with new products that they've listed on their site. And it costs them nothing to send an email to these people, but every email that goes out, it's definitely going to convert into sales, right? So you're effectively getting free traffic if you spend more time on building up your email list. I would certainly spend more time on that, because that would be the least risk, in a sense that you don't spend any money on ads at all. But I will not ignore the process of researching new products and still testing new Facebook ads for those products.
Yeah, definitely. I like you brought up the email list. That's hammered so often in our industry, that the money's in the list, but so few people really even collect emails sometimes. It's like, are you using any kind of autoresponder already? Like, do you already have funnels set up, or has it been mainly like broadcast emails that you've done so far?
So these are all built into the shop. It's run on the Shopify platform, and there are apps that are already pre-installed to the shop. So there are autoresponders already installed, which says, for example, if someone, let's say, adds something to a cart, right, and then abandons the cart, which means he decides not to go through with the purchase right now for one reason or another, there are autoresponders that sends out messages every other day to them to say, hey, you've left this in your cart. Why did you come back and buy this? Why did you come back and complete your purchase? We may give you a 10% discount or 15% discount if you do that. So all that is already built into the shop automatically. At this moment, I use MailChimp to send out my weekly emails to the customers whenever we launch and list new products on the shop. But a buyer can use any email software. It could be MailChimp, Constant Contact. It doesn't really matter what they use. Right. But the important thing is what you say, Greg. A lot of people say and talk, right, that the money's in the list, money's in the list. But again, no one has I wouldn't say no one, but very few people takes that seriously enough to create a process and say, okay, so every week, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to send out to your list, and then you need to send out these things to people who has not opened the previous email, and then you need to send out stuff to people who has not clicked on certain links in your email. So it sounds very complicated as we're on this call, Greg, but
of course,
the buyer will certainly have something that is concrete, and there will be a hand-holding process on how to actually follow that system that's proven to make money.
Would you do anything different if you decided to be, incredibly risky, threw caution to the wind to grow the business as quickly as possible, or would you be focusing on pretty much the same stuff you just mentioned?
I believe I've tested almost every possible method of growing and scaling this business, Greg. Whether they are less risky or much higher on the risk scale, I've tested them all. And to be honest, the riskiest way and the quickest way to grow this business is to just throw more money at Facebook ads. That's like the quickest way, right? If an ad is working and you're already selling a product, just increase the budget, triple it, quadruple it on a daily basis or some crazy number like that. It's extremely risky because you may be wrong, right? Or your Facebook account may get flagged because you're just spending too much too quickly. I would not take any more risks than necessary, to be honest. And again, go back to what I shared with you 10 minutes ago. If I were to continue running this business and scaling it, I will definitely spend more time doing product research, competitor research, list more stuff on the site, and test small ads, right? Like to test a new product that you've listed on the shop. I spend $5 a day, for example, right, to test a new product. So for example, if after this call, I go do some product research, I find 2 new products, I list them on my shop, I run 2 new Facebook ads, I'm spending $10 more a day just to test 2 new products, right? And in the e-commerce business, all you need is one product. You're just one product away from $1 million. That's what you really are. Right? So
that's a great one-liner right there. Yeah.
Which is true, right? So why would you want to throw like $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day on a product that is already selling when you can use, say, that $5,000 a day to test 1,000 other products?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would you throw everything onto one ad or onto one product? It just doesn't make sense to me, right?
Going all out.
Yeah, exactly, right? YOLO, go big or go home. And the latter will most probably happen by experience.
So what do you think is the biggest risk for a new buyer coming in? Is there anything that stands out for you as something that they should be aware of before purchasing this business?
Wow. I think the biggest risk is possibly the buyer not even willing to spend 2 hours a week on this business, I think, to be honest. I think the biggest risk is not a business risk. I think it's a key person's risk. So I run this business with a very, very lean team. Like I have one VA doing basic product research for me, and I spend 3 hours a week, if that, to list products and to run Facebook ads, right? And on a daily basis, I spend maybe, 30 minutes a day adjusting the Facebook ads budget. So that's really what I do to run this business. And I think the new buyer needs to be doing the same unless he or she's got someone else to actually spend this number of hours per week on this site. And I think the risk is the risk of complacency. I think if the new buyer decides that, this is already a working business and it's going to be making me, $60,000 a month, as long as I keep the ads going, I think he can't be too far off from the truth. I think, to be extremely honest and upfront, some time is still needed to be spent on this business to keep this profitability and to grow the profitability of this business. In terms of business risk, I don't think there's a lot to mention that I haven't mentioned already, but I think something that the buyer needs to be aware of is you need to spend some time. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-rich-easy scheme. You know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like even with the research time put in, that there really isn't too much time that you're spending on the business from the sounds of it, or at least if you wanted to be in kind of maintenance mode. Can you just kind of describe what kind of work you are doing on maybe like a weekly or monthly basis to maintain the site?
Yeah, sure. So on a daily basis, what I'd have to do is adjust the Facebook ads budget. So once you start listing more products and you have more Facebook ads running, you'd have to adjust the budgets. If they're performing well, I would tend to increase those budgets in order to scale the promotion for individual products. If the ads are not performing so well because it's a Tuesday or because it's Wednesday or some other reason, I will decrease the budget for certain ads. So that's done once a day. And it takes maybe about 10, 15 minutes, if that, right? And because I have a virtual assistant who might pay, $300 a month to answer customer support emails, I don't have to do that. But if the new buyer doesn't have $300 to spend a month to hire a customer support virtual assistant, then he or she will have to spend, 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day answering customer support emails and placing orders with the supplier of the products that are sold. That's on a daily basis. On a weekly basis, I take maybe, 2-3 hours a week, usually on a weekend, to research on new products and create new Facebook ads. So once that's created, it's scheduled to run for the following week, and it just does its thing. I let it run for a week, and I review it the following week again. So personally, the work that I don't outsource is the product research and the managing of the Facebook ads budget. But that's, again, 15 minutes a day, if that, and it's 2 hours a week if you're willing to spend 2 hours a week or more.
That's fantastic. Is there any skills or requirements you suggest a buyer should have before purchasing this business?
Well, the shop is run on the Shopify platform, which is extremely easy to use. And to be honest, everything's done for you, which is why this is a get-rich-easy business. You really don't have to modify anything else. You don't have to make any technical changes. You don't need to have a programmer. You would need to know how to run Facebook ads, right? But again, that's part and parcel of the handover once this sale process is complete. So there's really nothing to worry about there. I'm a very process-driven guy, as you can tell by now, which means I've got everything written down to bullet points, to the point where I would say open Google Chrome as step 1, and then step 2, go to www.facebook.com, right? So I wouldn't say go to your Facebook Ads Manager page. Like, I would break everything down into very small steps. So I think it's just a bit of getting used to be honest. There's no technical knowledge required to run this business, but certainly some time needs to be spent both on my end and the buyer's end to get used to how the shop actually works by way of a process, not by way of the technical systems. And once that's done, it really is just rinse, repeat.
Yeah, it sounds like the answer to this next question is a lot, but how much support would you be willing to offer a new owner of the business?
We've listed on the site that there will be 7 days of email support to ensure that the handover of the entire shop is smooth. But primarily those 7 days is to bring the new owner of this business through the processes that I've created. So I would say, okay, so these are the things that you need to do today. Have you done it? Have you not done it? What questions do you have? What difficulties have you faced on a daily basis? Before that, I would go through at least a 2-hour Skype call with the new owner of this business, again, to bring him or her through the entire operations of the shop. But that's going to take 15 minutes. The other 1 hour to 2 hours of the call will primarily be to share the research process, to share the product research process, to share the competitor research process. I think that's the most important part. And I'm willing to give up to even 7 days of email support after this call to ensure that everything is handed over smoothly. But to be honest, I'm here and it's not like I'm disappearing from the internet. So I'll be happy to provide email support at any time. There's no issues there because it doesn't take up much time to run the shop.
Right, within reason, of course. I'm assuming you get thousand spammies. Felix.
Yeah, no.
Would you be willing to sign a non-compete saying like, "Hey, look, I'm not going to go start this exact same business you just bought from me"?
Yeah, for sure, Greg. If I was planning to go start another business in the same exact thing, dude, I won't be selling it. I'll just be scaling it.
Right.
So yeah, the NDA, non-compete, there's no issues there. Like I said, the main and true reason why I'm letting go of the shop, especially now that everything is picking up, is because I've been offered an opportunity that is at least 10 times bigger than what this shop is currently doing right now, right? And it's not just about the money, it's about the opportunity, it's about the global reach that this new VC platform can offer me. And obviously that makes a lot more sense to my professional career because I want to build something that's really big, that's really global, that's spotted by the who's who in the venture capitalist and stuff like that, right?
Oh,
But
yeah, this is a
the
great
shop,
opportunity.
yeah, right. So, but this shop gives me a fantastic lifestyle, gives me a great lifestyle, but that's not what I'm looking for. I already have a very good lifestyle, as you can probably guess by now. So I'm okay with everything else, but it's just a personal goal, right? Like I want to do something huge and I want to do something massive, and it's not just about money. The shop gives me more money than I ever need on a monthly basis. And especially the numbers that we've listed are just based on the past 3 months average. But when you look at the peak of the shop, when you actually scale up the business, you're looking at figures that's at least 5 to 10 times more than the $6,141 net profit, right? So if I just decided to scale this business back up to when it was running at full scale, I could do that next month and all that will be sorted, right? But it's not money that I'm looking to build right now. I'm looking to build something bigger.
Right. And now, obviously, the best case scenario here for you and for Empire Flippers is someone comes in and offers the full sales price to buy the business. But would you be at all open to something like, say, 70 or 80% up front and then the remainder down after a certain period of training is achieved, something along those lines, or any other kind of earnout? Would you be open to that?
Yeah, I think in the listing, it's mentioned that I was not open to earnouts or something, but I would be open to that, depending on who the buyer is. Obviously, if there are two types of buyers who will be interested in this, right? It's listed on the listing that the buyer profile is portfolio Paul. So if someone wants to buy an existing business that is already profitable and who's willing and able to spend 2 to 3 hours a week, no problem. You should just buy it out and we just start spending those 2 to 3 hours a week, run a business, get the profits. It's as simple as that, right? But if there's someone who's more interested in scaling the business and would like me to remain as part of his virtual team in a sense, in order to handhold him or her through the entire process and through the scaling process, and who's willing to put up 70-80% of the asking price of the list price with the balance, and maybe I wouldn't say no to an upside, right, if I obviously stayed on to help this new buyer scale the business. But the answer is yes, I will be open to that as well, yes.
Excellent.
To the right buyer.
Yeah, of course. Always comes down to the individual case-by-case basis. Before I ask you my final question here, just to give everyone out there listening a quick recap of this business. It was built in May 2016, has a monthly revenue of $43,968, with expenses sitting at $37,826, for that total net profit of $6,141, and that is over a 3-month average. With the sale, obviously the domain and all the content will be included, as well as the customer database with around 15,000 customers. So Felix, my final question for you is, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
Well, the first question for the buyer is whether he believes the e-commerce business or e-commerce industry is growing around the world, not just in the US, but around the world, right? And if the answer is yes, then for sure the buyer needs to get into an e-commerce business yesterday, okay? And then there are two ways that he can get into this business. He can either create one on his own and build one on his own and pay thousands of dollars for training and courses and webinars and what have you, or he can buy an existing business that's working. Now, you can buy an existing business that is already working, but if there are no processes in place like what I have, if the business is not based on research like what mine is, then he'll be spending even more money trying to get to the level that the business can get to, right? He can't scale to the correct level, to the most optimal level without a working process and a working system. This business that I'm selling is not simply an online e-commerce shop. It's an e-commerce shop with a working process, with a working system that helps this buyer increase the business to 5 times, 10 times easy, as long as he follows the process and he puts certain number of hours in. So I would say that's how I differentiate my listing amongst the others on Empire Flippers, obviously. And yeah, that's what I would say.
That's a great pitch, and you mentioned something that I think about all the time is someone buying a business that's already making profit in a way is, I hate to use the word, but kind of a shortcut because they're not spending all that time on niche research, testing different things. They already have, like what you said, a proven business is working. And obviously, you have a lot of processes from the sounds of it, so proven processes as well. For those people out there listening in, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more information about this business, the link will be below the video that would take you to our marketplace listing. Now, if you're on the actual marketplace listing and you want more information, you can become a depositor today. It's super easy. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you will be given everything you need to review this business. So, Felix, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was an absolute pleasure.
All right. Thanks a lot, Greg.